we would be covering on how to create an EC2 instance or how to rent a server from AWS in simple steps. Okay, so first what we have to do is we have to go to the service EC2, using which we can rent servers from Amazon Cloud. So I'm clicking on this EC2 servers. So currently it says I do not have any instances or servers running in this region. So first thing what we have to do is we have to choose a region out of these, any one we have to choose. So how do we choose this? We have to keep in mind who are the users that are going to be using this server. If they are present in India, I would choose Mumbai. If they are present in US, I would be choosing US East, Virginia or Ohio, something like that. So we have to depend upon our users. So my users are going to be based from India basically, so I am going to choose Mumbai as my region. So next I'm going to click on launch instances. The first thing it's asking me is to choose any one of the available OS that's present in the Amazon's data store. So there is Amazon Linux 2, there is Mac OS, there are Windows servers, so you can choose the type of OS that you need from the list. So I'm going to choose a simple Amazon Linux 2 Linux 2 OS, and I'm going to go to the next step. Here what we choose is the number of CPUs and the number of memory that we need. So if I need 2 cores of CPU and 4 gigs of RAM, I'll go ahead and choose this. So since this is only for test purpose, I'm going to choose T2, which has 1 core of CPU and 1 gigs of RAM. So next I'm going to go ahead and going to configure the EC2 instance. So there are a lot of things that can go through, which would be covered in the next videos. So we would skip this configure instance part alone. You can leave everything under default for now. And let's go to add storage. So here we would be adding the hard disk to our EC2 instances. I'm just giving it 8 gigs of space, which would be more than sufficient for Amazon Linux. If you're going to give Windows, you have to give 30 gigs or more than that. So it depends upon your OS. So since I'm using Amazon Linux, I'm going to use 8 gigs. And then I'm going to add tags. Now I'm going to say that this server type is a web server. Or I can even give that this server's name is going to be a web server. Okay, and I'm going to go and click on next and hit configure security group. So use this would act as a firewall or a security guard that would be present before your EC2 instance. So only if this rule matches, you will be allowed in. If this rule does not match, you'll not be allowed in. So what we have to do, usually we connect to Linux instances using a protocol called SSH, and the port number is 22 for that. So what we do, we give the protocol type as SSH, and we give the port number as 22, and here we give 0.0.0.0/0. This means it's open to the world. Anyone can try to access this server. Okay, and next what we are going to do is click on review and launch, and click on launch instances. So ideally you'll not have this option if you're doing this for the first time. You'll have an option to create a new key pair. So what this does is AWS does not have any username and password based authentication when you create the instance at the first step. It uses a key using which we can connect to the AWS instance. You have to download this key and you have to save it locally on your system somewhere. Only using this key you will be able to access that instance or log into that instance. If you lose the key, you have to delete the instance. There is no way of recovering any data or nothing could be done. So save this key somewhere safe and use it while connecting to the instance. And yeah, so here you can type in key pair 1 and then you can click on download key pair. Okay, so you can save the file, and then once the file is saved you can click on launch instances. Okay, So usually this takes only a minute or so to get launched. So now the status is under pending. So we'll wait for a few minutes for it to get into running status, and we'll try to connect to it. Okay. Now it's in running status. All we have to do is click on the instance, say connect, and we'll be trying to connect, since it's an Amazon Linux, we'll try to connect it directly from the browser itself. So EC2 instance connect, and we click on connect. Now we have our Amazon Linux server ready for us, and we can try Linux commands, we can host a web server. Everything could be done with the help of this server. So Linux command like ls is going to work, pw is going to work, everything is going to work. Okay, so this is how you basically create an EC2 instance. So now, since that we have learned how to create an instance, we'll learn how to delete the instance as well, because if you keep it running, you'd be again charged for the instance that's running, right? So let me exit out of it. Let me go to instances. We see one instance which is running, which is the web server name that we gave. I'm going to choose this, and under instance state, terminate instances. So the instance is going to gracefully shut down, and it's going to get terminated.